Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Nosh's Quest to Gold. This will be the first match from my silver sessions that I will be showing you today. I'm playing up at the top left hand side of this map as your red Protoss, giving out all the hearts, and down the bottom right hand side here we have my opponent bozzik is what he's going to be today. A couple of things to mention straight off of the bat. I'm not entirely sure if I'm comfortable with it just yet, but I'm now I'm now recording in like full glorious high 1080p resolution. The computer does seem to handle it fine, but I have noticed, at least in the last playthrough, there were a couple of like lag glitches and things, so we're not entirely sure if we're going to keep it like this or if we're going to just, you know, revert back to the slightly lower resolution. We're going to see, but for now I really like how the game looks in like super glorious all the way HD. You know, there's a little bit more detail, a little bit more interesting going on, so we're just going to see. Another thing to mention is that the logo that you will see here has changed as well. Obviously, because I've changed resolution, I've had to change this logo because it didn't fit, the old one didn't fit. But anyway, as you can see, I'm scouting my opponent's base. Today's game is actually going to be two games. Again, I played the same person back to back in the ladder, like you might remember from my game against Gordon the Freeman, and we're going to show again some of my mistakes in playing the same opponent one game after the other, being maybe a little too cocky or just assuming that the same things are going to work. So coming up here, looking at Bozzik's probe, he's just about to come in at my base. You're going to see my standard everyday opener, your 9 pylon, your 13 your 12 assimilator, Nosh, goodness, your 12 assimilator, your 15, fucking hell, 9 pylon, 12 gateway, 15 assimilator, 16 pylon. It's what I've been trying to say like 100 times and failing miserably. Now, I've mentioned before in other casts that I really don't like this map. I've came up with a PvP strategy I quite like on it. I sometimes use it against Terran, but I usually build my robo back up in my base so that I can keep observers up here in case cloaked banshees come out. But you're going to see my slightly revised 3-gate robo strategy today. Now I'm just passing this little dude around, making sure that the front's going on normal, making sure that these things are like Cybernetics cores, mine being a good what, 30 seconds, 20 seconds ahead of his, but you can see that everything's kosher, that everything's coming through at the right time. I think I noticed he only has one, or I'm about to notice he definitely only has one assimilator, making sure that he's not, you know, double glassing it up, maybe, you know, going for some quick high Vespian play. If you look at my base, again, standard opener, I'm getting my other pylon down, and then straight into my second assimilator. The reason I've been going for this is purely because I'm very fond of Immortal heavy at the start of my PvP play, and Immortals are quite gas intensive. So get out your first couple of units. It's going to be a Stalker for both myself and my opponent. A couple of Stalkers, maybe a Zealot, maybe a Sentry, but then try and just go for Zealots and Immortals, which really just tear up through your Stalkers. You can see here my little probe dude, he's placing this little pylon. It's my usual forward pylon on this map for a 4-gate warpin or a 3-gate robo. It's somewhere either up here at the top. I sometimes place it up here depending if I see an expand maybe down here. Sometimes, you know, just here to catch the rim up here, but that can be spotted from the high ground, especially against Protoss. He should have some units out scouting that, so I try and be safe. But you're going to see in quite a little while, you're going to see I've added on my additional 2 gates, that's there and there. My opponent has only added on 1 gate at the moment. He's added on 2, but he is at 3 gates at the moment as well, so we're both 3 gate. If we just keep a look at this little probe, you can see that I've decided, especially because of the run distance, running your Immortals all the way from the top where I'm pointing the mini-map now, the run distance of Immortals is quite far, so if you proxy your robo, which is highly dangerous, especially if they find it and shoot it to death, that's a good amount of resources gone. If you proxy your robo, then you can get your Immortals into the fray much quicker. You're spawning everything else from that pylon anyway. Anyway, you see my first 2 Stalkers are making their way out across the map just at the same time. My opponent, Bozzik's, which sounds a little bit like ball sack in my head, Bozzik's is starting his Stargate and going for another pylon as well. He's getting quite close to his supply cap, so that's quite good. An interesting play from him. I haven't seen a lot of Protoss, especially early on, go for a Stargate. He does seem to be opting for mostly Stalkers. As my first push comes in, I'm actually going to lose, yep, that Stalker there. So he'll feel quite good. That's his 5 Stalkers have taken on my 4 Stalkers, well, now 4 Stalkers and 1. He's bringing out another couple of Stalkers himself from his non-gatewayed There's non-warp gated gateways. His research is about to finish though, so he does have quite a good number of stalkers from 3 gateways without having warp gate done. I would like to see him start making warp gate now. As you can see, my push is starting. My immortal is almost out. He'll be joining my stalkers in the fray. These 3 zealots will be holding up the back. The front, sorry, they'll be tanking all this damage. That's Bozzik's warp gate starting to come through now. He's not using his chrono boost, which he has enough of now. He's not using that on his... There you go, good job, sir. He's using that in his Stargate now to try and push that out a little bit more. Judging by what I'm doing, I've gone and supply capped myself. So I've had to build a couple of pylons back here so that I can get this warp in. Now, as I mentioned before, it's likely to be mostly zealots that I'm bringing in. Just purely because the gas intensity, trying to just get as many immortals out as you possibly can. You don't want to be wasting your gas and anything else. Now, I have also dropped a forge back at home, which I would show you, but I am going in for the engagement. The stalker's running straight up the front. My immortal not actually in range of anything. The void ray is coming to shoot at the immortal, but you should pull this back, Nosh. You're getting eaten. Pull it back? No? No? Ah, there we go. A second round of reinforcements is coming in. Because the zealots were doing just such a good job up the top of the ramp there, they managed to hold off a lot of that, initial damage from the stalkers, allowing me to be able to take out the void ray, which just happened there, and take out the rest of these. From the bottom of the ground, we do see, for some reason, all my units gimping out on the ramp. But now that I've managed to get another warp in of units in, and I have 2 immortals in the fray, poor Bozzik isn't going to stand a chance. Even more stalkers coming up the back from me here. We take out the stalker, we've unpowered these 2 things here. We're working on the pylons as well. I would like to see myself push in at the mineral line, but I do get a GG from Bozzik, and that is the game over there. Like I say, I would like to see me take these units and push into the mineral line, do a little bit more harass. As you can see, I was kind of making sure that I was going to start a transition at least. If I get held back too much, get a forge, get some upgrades, maybe push down, get my expansion, things like that. This is very dangerous because if I did lose all that, he is likely to come over here at some point, maybe check for a proxy pylon, and I'm going to lose. That's 300 resources just there. A robo itself, he has 200, 100, so that's 500 resources, 100 Vespian, just sitting in a very undefendable place. So it could be better, but it was a win for me. The 3-gate robo, especially if you can keep your immortals close to where your opponent starts and you make it through the initial push, is very, very strong. It's definitely something worth trying out. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the next game, but I'm going to put that in a separate video. Look forward to catching you all there. Thank you later for watching. Thank you for watching. I will see you later. Peace.